You know, it's a bit amazing, really, that after 5 years of whiskey vlogging, I've only just, well, right now we are making history. This is my first serious Glenfarclas tasting. How did I leave it so long? Hello, I'm Rosemary, and I love whiskey, and I love talking to you, dear viewer. So this is the Glenfarclas 15-year-old. This is an independent family-owned whiskey distillery in Speyside. It is the stuff of legends. One of the hoteliers up here in Orkney who really has an amazing collection of whiskies just says that for him, whiskey comes alive when he reaches for a bottle of Glenfarclas. It has such a following. Big, famous sherry cask, matured, glorious, glorious nose. Yes, 46%, so lots of alcohol, but no burn, just lovely. I tell you what, sometimes with sherry casks, you just get all Muscatel grapes and you think, oh, it's like going to the supermarket where the bread odours are being pumped out as you go in the door. This is much more balanced than a hit of dried fruits. It's honeyed, it's rich. Yes, you know it's been in sherry, but it's not, it doesn't seem to me to be a very deep, sweet sherry cask. And that word sweet is a bit tricky there because you do get very rich sherries, which are very dry. Perhaps I should just shut up and taste it. The nose is fantastic. Amazingly rich. Orange peel, slightly marmaladey, really bright. That amazing Seville orange, slight bitterness in there, and yet it is sweet and caramelized, and to me it's more sultanas than Lexia raisins in this one, which is the Glenfarclas 15-year-old. And then such wonderful spices. There's pepper, there's mace, there's allspice, there's a hint of ginger. Oh, there's so much dancing going on in my mouth. Thank the Lord, because if you saw me trying to do ballroom dancing, that just simply wouldn't work. Sip number 2. Much more balanced, just gloriously easy to drink. The thing about Glenfarclas is that it's a bit like your favourite pair of slippers. You can get so used to it that it's all you want to drink. And then you realise that you've got to go out somewhere and you need to change out of your slippers and put something different on. This is like a dog that's been with you for years and knows your every mood. It is a comforting whiskey. It's just glorious. It's a coming home whiskey. I'd love to have done this tasting outside because the sun is shining, but this is not an outside whiskey. This is an end of the day whiskey for a day well lived, lots of fresh air, and then coming into somewhere comfortable. I've added a bit of water because I needed to tell you what happens with it. For me, this is a whiskey that doesn't need water. It diminishes it slightly. To me, it doesn't hold it together because it's so well made and so well put together. And it doesn't release anything extra. It changes it. And I have to say that I prefer Glenfarclas straight. Now, this incredible whiskey, the 15-year-old, is about £55 if you buy it online. So it's not the cheapest of whiskies. It's a small company. It's a really, really friendly whiskey company. Look, you can go online and read about their tasting rooms and wood panelling off old ships and all the rest of it. But what you can't get if you don't go and visit other distilleries is the way in which Glenfarclas just help other new guys in the whiskey industry so much. I can remember going to Kilhoman on Isla and seeing J&G Grant, Glenfarclas barrels in the store, just helping these guys along. Yeah, put some of your new make into our barrels, let's see what happens, etc., etc. So well thought of. Exactly the same as Ardnamurchan. You know, if you're like me and you're trying to get hold of some of their first releases, it's really difficult because the stuff's just flying out of the door. But years ago we went to Ardnamurchan, soon after they'd started. What do you see? J&G Grant, Glenfarclas barrel in there with Ardnamurchan whiskey in it. You know, because I've added water, I'm not going to stop drinking this. Some other friends who are very into curling, it was always J&G Grant with the Glenfarclas hat on, who sponsored curling club events in Speyside. It's a brilliant whiskey. It's a family that's passionate about being part of the whiskey community. And I just can't believe that this is the first time I've really done a standalone tasting of it. One other Glenfarclas that I would say, if you get a chance to buy it and you've got a bit of money in your pocket, it's the 21-year-old, and that's just under £100, so it is an absolute treat. But I can remember doing a podcast about whiskies with a friend of mine who is an olive oil expert and a wine writer as well, and tasting the 21-year-old against all sorts of tapas, and it was sublime. So amazingly, that one is 43% ABV. This, the 15-year-old, is 46. £55, well, it's class. It's class. And yes, I've bought it before, and, dear viewer, I'll be buying it again. See you again next time. Cheers for now. Yep, that was Glenfarclas, 15-year-old. Yeah, the label's a bit black and white with red bits. Could be snazzier, but the whiskey speaks for itself.